Hey everybody, welcome back to the 80s Slashers YouTube channel. In this video, I would like to discuss a topic that most of us within this community care quite a lot about, and that is 80s slashers on Blu-rays. Now, in particular, the 80s slashers that we have yet to get a proper Blu-ray release of. Now, fortunately for us collectors, it seems that we have been living in kind of like a golden time over the past few years with just with the sheer amount of films getting, their Blu-ray debuts. And this is especially true for us 80s slashers fans. It seems that over the past two years or so, there are just more and more of these films getting released. It feels like almost every month or two we are getting a new 80s slasher on Blu-ray, which has been absolutely great. Thanks to companies such as Vinegar Syndrome, Scream Factory, Arrow Video, Code Red, and, and many more of even smaller boutique labels. Thanks to these companies, the future landscape for 80s slashers on Blu-ray has never seemed so bright. So it's a really exciting time. For us collectors, like I said. Now, with all that being said, even with the abundance of releases that we've been getting recently, there is still a ton of 80s slashers that have yet to get a decent release. Some of these films haven't made it off of VHS. Some of them, have gotten, DVD releases, but they're, still very poor quality. So, that'll be the focus for the remainder of this video. So what I would like to do, in this video is just kind of do a ranking of my top 10 80s slashers that I would like to see get a Blu-ray release in the near future. Now, this ranking that I'm about to do, I just want to throw this out here. This ranking isn't something that is set in stone. This is in fact these are just my preferences. And my preferences often change depending on my mood, so some of the films are ranked higher because of just how much I enjoy the film, others just because I've either recently watched them or, some of them I haven't seen in a really long time, so I want to see them again kind of thing, but in like a high definition. So I just kind of threw these 10 films together and put them in just, kind of a random order. So again, this is like a highly subjective list, just, like I said, one based on my personal opinions. What I would love to hear, in the comments below, some other films that, that I haven't mentioned in this video that, that you guys would love to see get a Blu-ray release. As I'm sure there will be, many different opinions on, what needs, to be on Blu-ray. So now, one last thing before we get into the rankings of the 10 films, that we're about to discuss. 3 of the films that I'm about to talk about, I've never seen before. So, but through word of mouth, reading, watching content online, about these films, I feel like I have a really good idea of what they're, what they're about. So that's basically just my main justification for adding them to these, to these rankings. All right, enough of all that. Let's all that stuff's out of the way. I just kind of want to lay a little intro down there, just to just to clear up some thoughts But yeah, let's just jump right into it, and let's start off with number 10. All right, so coming in at number 10, I have from 1981, Home Sweet Home. Now, this slasher is probably not going to be considered by anyone as a classic. It may be, it probably won't even be considered by many as being a good film. And I'm not going to argue with people on that, but I don't know, there's something really fun about this film that I don't know, I just kind of enjoy it. The killer in this film is played by Jake Steinfeld, who, in the 80s, was all those commercials, Body by Jake, from that kind of thing. So it's kind of fun, and he is just he's so over the top, just like raging and just insane all the time. It's just fun to watch. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you've seen it, but it's ridiculous. And there's like other crazy characters. There's a guy in this film who's like always playing an electric guitar with an amp tied to his back, and he's so annoying. But at the same time, it's fun, and like the whole time you're hoping, oh, I hope this guy gets killed because he's just one of those annoying characters. It's just something that's kind of memorable. It just stands out with this film. Like I said, it's annoying, but it's super fun. Um, yeah, so there's just I don't know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff I like about this film. There's and the copies that I've seen, it's really dark at times. It's hard to make out. So this really could use a nice HD scan, to bring out some of the darker areas because a lot of the film takes place at night. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, not a great film to be sure. I'm not going to argue that, but it's one that's fun and I enjoy, and I think I would love to see it get a Blu-ray release. All right, so yeah, so number 10 we had Home Sweet Home. All right, let's take a look at number 9. All right, so coming at number 9 from 1984, we have Shadows Run Black. Now, this is one of the films that I have not seen yet. But the biggest well-known aspect to this film is that it is one of the earliest films starring a young Kevin Costner. I believe might be his second film. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I really like seeing these big Hollywood stars when they were getting their very first start in these 80s slashers. It's a novelty for me, and I just really like it. Obviously you get Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th, Tom Hanks, and He Knows You're Alone, and you get Kevin Costner in Shadows Run Black. I don't know, that aspect of it is appealing to me. So I definitely want to check that out for that reason. Now, this is a film that it has a reputation online as being not a great film. But that doesn't always mean anything to me because a lot of these films I really enjoy, and some people don't enjoy them. But that's fine. But the reputation is it's not great. But what it does have a reputation for being is really sleazy with just like a copious amount of gratuitous nudity mixed in. Now, I'm a sucker for these sleazy films, especially in the slasher genre. Films like Maniac, The New York Ripper, Eyes of a Stranger. They just have that that grimy, sleazy feel to it, where there's like the kills are mixed in with like the violence, and the kills is mixed in with like the sex and the nudity. Um, I, I don't know, and this film apparently has that. So it's yeah, it's really appealing to me. So couple the sleaze factor with young Kevin Costner. It's definitely one that I definitely want to check out, and I really hope gets a Blu-ray release. So yeah, number 9, Shadows Run Black. All right, let's move on. Number 8. All right, so coming in at number 8 from 1982, we have Unhinged. Now, this is, again, another film that I have not seen yet. But in this case, unlike Shadows Run Black, there are people who absolutely love this film. So it's one I've been wanting to check out for a long time. So like I said, even though I don't have much to say about it because I haven't seen it and I don't know too much about it. But the main reason I want it on Blu-ray is just because I want to see it. I've heard videos I've watched, the reviews I've read online. People on this channel who have commented on this channel bring up Unhinged quite a bit at how it's one of their favorite films from either 1982 or just from the whole genre. So yeah, I really want to check out Unhinged. There are ways to view this film online. You can pick up copies on DVD, I think on eBay. You're probably going to pay a little too much for what it's worth on there. Um, but for those reasons, I've just been holding out for a Blu-ray, and that's one of the main reasons I've yet to see it. It's one I really do want to see, but I've been holding out for a Blu-ray. Um, so yeah, I really hope this one gets released. Yeah, so coming in at number 8, Unhinged. All right, let's move on to number 7. All right, so coming at number 7 from 1985, we have Blood Tracks. Now, this is the last of the films on this list that I haven't seen. Now, if if anyone has seen the trailer for this film, you know as well as I do. This film, if you haven't seen it, it just looks like pure fun. Um, just in the trailer alone, you get to see some really fun kills. You can tell there's lots of nudity in this film. It's loaded with just that mid 80s cheese. And it's kind of like a rock and roll slasher. It follows around like a hair metal band. So you get that aspect of it. You get like some fun music in this film, and all this is put together in like a Swedish package because this is like a Swedish film, and that's appealing to me. Um, so yeah, there's just so many different things about this film that I want to check out. Um, Now this film you can pick up this on DVD on eBay for pretty cheap, and Amazon as well, I believe. And I actually might pull the trigger. I've had it on my wish list for a while. It's like, I don't know, 15, it's under 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks, something like that. I might pick it up because this is one I've been wanting to see for a while, and it's such a cheap price for the DVD. I might go ahead and grab it on DVD and still hope for a Blu-ray. And if it comes on Blu-ray, I'll pick up the Blu-ray for sure. But yeah, this film just looks right up my alley with the music and like the 80s cheese. It just looks so fun. So yeah, so coming at number 7, Blood Tracks. All right, let's take a look at number 6. All right, so coming in at number 6 from 1982, we have Girls' Night Out. Now this is an early 80s slasher that I feel doesn't get enough love. Um, I don't know. This film is it's really enjoyable for me. It's just a slasher that I don't know. I like this film. It's just there's nothing special about it. There's nothing big that stands out that makes it a must see. But it's just I don't know. Something about it is just really enjoyable. It takes place on a college campus, and it revolves around like an all night scavenger hunt. Um, so yeah, it's just a fun concept, a fun location. The killer's wearing like a funny mascot outfit. There's just a whole bunch of little things that are just really fun about this film. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just the ending to this film. Again, it's something that needs to be noted. It's probably one of the most memorable things about the film is the ending. It's really creepy and disturbing. It's one of those freeze frame shots, like it's when the film ends, it's kind of like a creepy reveal, but then the film like ends as the credit rolls on like a freeze frame of the last shot, and it stays with you. It's I don't know, it's pretty memorable. I really like the ending of the film. Yeah, now this one might be This one might be hard to get a release for just due to some of the music copyright issues. There's the song "Summer in the City" by the band Loving Spoonful is played a few times, and it's kind of a good part of the film. Early on, it plays, so I don't know, if that would be an issue getting a Blu-ray release. If they had to omit that and put a different song in, I don't know if it would be the same. It'd probably be fine. But I like that that song is in there. It's kind of fun. Um, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, Girls' Night Out. It's just a really fun, underrated slasher that I think definitely deserves a Blu-ray release, in my opinion. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's number 6. So let's move on and take a look at number 5. All right. So coming at number 5 from 1984, we have Rocktober Blood. Now, I recently did a review on this channel for Rocktober Blood, so if you want to, check out my full thoughts on that film, you can go back and I'll link it below in the description there, and maybe at the end of the video as well. But yeah, go back and check that out. But yeah, Rocktober Blood's really fun. Again, this is a rock and roll slasher, similar to Blood Tracks. And this film just has a little bit of everything that you'd kind of want from an 80s slasher. It has a great setting, touring kind of with like an 80s rock band. You see them in like the studio at like concerts, backstage, like groupies, recording music. It just yeah, just that whole setting. It really feels like you're in the midst of watching an 80s rock band, but it's set around like a slasher film. It's really great. There's some really fun kills in this film. There's of course the gratuitous nudity that is required is in this film. And there's some fantastic music that they play. Like there's like I don't know 4, 5, 6 like actual full songs, almost full songs you get to hear, and they're good. They're really good. Like if you're into like rock music, like 80s rock, glam, hair metal, that type of music, it's great. And they play them into the movie. They fit well. Yeah, it's the music's fantastic in this film. Really fun. Um, Now, like I said, this isn't a perfect film by any means. It has its faults. And so that's discussed in my review. So like again, go back and check that out if you're curious. But despite its faults, it just there's so much fun in this film that it's definitely worth a Blu-ray release. Now, again, I discussed in the review there might be an issue with this ever getting a Blu-ray release because there's some rights with like the filmmakers and the people who own the rights. It's from my understanding, it's kind of a mess. There's a lot of legal things going on, so I don't know if we're ever gonna get a Blu-ray release of this film, but you never know. So I'm hoping we do. That would be really great. So yeah. So coming at number 5, Rocktober Blood. All right, let's take a look at number 4. All right, so coming at number 4 from 1986, we have Evil Laugh. Now, this is another underrated mid 80s slasher that I just don't think gets enough love. Maybe it's because it's never gotten like a big Blu-ray release. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people know of this film. But this is a solid 80s slasher in my opinion. This one is equal parts, 80s slasher tropes, whatnot, but then it's also equal parts 80s cheese fest. And it just really makes it for a fun watch. It has all the staples that you'd expect. Some really good kills, with some fun practical effects. It has like a highlight kill for me involving like a microwave that's really fun. It has its gratuitous nudity that's needed. Um, you get there's a character in this film that's kind of like if you're familiar with like Wes Craven's Scream from '96, like the horror, the guy who knows all the horror trivia, and it's like every time something happens, he's like, oh, if we're in a horror movie, this is what's gonna happen. He's kind of predicting what's gonna happen because he knows the genre. Well, there's a character like that in Evil Laugh way before Wes Craven did it. Um, and yeah, like he's like, oh God, we're in a this creepy house, and he's just calling things like because he's reading Fangoria in the movie. It's just it's fun. It's kind of like that meta aspect to it, which is really neat. And happening in '84, only like 4 years into like the slash '80s slasher genre. It's I don't know, it's really cool. I really like that. Um, so yeah, you get all that. Plus, there's there you get maybe the cringiest, cheesiest scene in the entire '80s slasher genre. There's a scene, when the group of friends get to a house. The film takes place at a house. They're trying to clean it up to get it ready to sell, basically. One of them inherited the house from someone. Um, Anyway, and so they're cleaning the house, and they're like they put this cheesy '80s song on the ghetto blaster, and they're dancing with feather dusters, and they're like bumping bums next to it's like the cheesiest thing. Like the words to the words to the song that's playing is so cheesy. It's great. It's cringy. I don't know if it was ever hip or cool at the time in '86, but now it's just it's hilarious. It's worth the price of admission alone, just to watch this scene. I love it. It's so funny. This film also stars, future adult film star Ashlyn Gear. Um, in I think this might have been her first acting role in a film. I thought she was, and she's the lead. I thought she was really good. You could tell that, one of the reasons probably she had a long career in the adult film industry is because she had some acting chops. She could actually act. And she was pretty good in this. She was good as a final girl type thing. Yeah, just another little, I don't know, a little bonus, little fun thing about this film. But yeah, Evil Laugh, definitely check it out. It's definitely one that for sure deserves a Blu-ray release. Again, you can get it on. I think the Blu-ray. I'm sorry, the DVD on eBay it used to be cheap. It's gone up in price a little bit, so it's harder to track down now. But yeah, definitely want this one on Blu-ray. Yeah. So number 4, Evil Laugh. All right, let's go on to number 3. All right, so coming at number 3 from 1988, we have Cheerleader Camp. Now this is a film that I just like the whole concept of this film. This is like a summer camp type setting, um, where the campers are like whole teams of like cheerleaders from different like high schools, or I don't know if it's universities or high schools. They look old. They're not young kids. Um, but yeah, they go to this summer camp setting for cheerleaders, and they go to practice and to rehearse and to compete with each other. It's just it's so '80s, and it's cheesy, but it's I love the concept. It's a great setting. Obviously we love slashers set at camp settings. But this is just a unique kind of twist on it with the cheerleading aspects. So fun. Again, there's so many fun elements in this film. Including like lots of like I said cheesy cheerleading routines. There's like a silly rap, like some break dancing, like some it's like just the '80s cheese factor. This is '88, so this is at the height of all that stuff. It's just really fun. So that's great. Of course, you get some really fun kills, and there is a couple really good kills in this film. Good use of practical effects. Of course, you get the gratuitous nudity that's expected in these films, including from another future adult film star in Terry Weigel. She went on to have, again, a very long career in the adult film industry. And again, I think this is one, if not her very first acting role in a film. So again, I don't know, I'm a sucker for that stuff. I just like to see how some of these actresses got their start in '80s slashers. It's I don't know, it's appealing to me. I like it. But yeah, she's in it, and just like the cast itself overall is really good. You got Betsy Russell, who I love Betsy Russell. She's one of like those '80s vixens. Um, she was in Tomboy. She was in, I think, one of the Angel franchise films. She was in Private School. Yeah, Betsy Russell was fantastic. I love her in everything in the '80s, and she's great in this. Lucinda Dickey was in this film. Leif Garrett. It's a great '80s cast. It's really good. Yeah, Cheerleader Camp is just a really fun 80s slasher that just has a good vibe and some really fun 80s slasher elements. So, yeah, the ending's kind of weird as well. There's a whole bunch going on in this film. I like it. I like Cheerleader Camp quite a bit, and I really hope it gets a Blu-ray release. Another thing, the cover art. I haven't talked about that for any of these films, but the cover art for Cheerleader Camp is just fantastic, and it would, oh man, it would just look so good on my shelf. I have a nice Blu-ray of it. Um, the VHS for this is crazy expensive. I'm not sure if there is a DVD, but if there is, it's crazy expensive. This film for me is out of reach until there's a Blu-ray, so I really really would like for it to get released. So yeah, coming in at number 3, Cheerleader Camp. All right, let's go on to number 2. All right, so coming in at number 2 from 1987, we have Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Um, so yeah, Prom Night 2. This is a supernatural slasher. I've talked about it before. I'm not the biggest fan of supernatural slashers. The whole Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is, I'm lukewarm on that whole franchise. But this is one of my favorite supernatural slashers in the entire genre. I don't know what it is. I really like it. If you're not familiar, this plays out kind of like Stephen King's Carrie. That book, is adapted into the film. If this was Carrie, but instead of getting like blood dumped on her head at prom, she got burned to death. The prank went wrong, and she got burned to death, and she died. And it takes place back. I don't know if it's the 50s or the 60s where this takes place. And then you fast forward to the 80s there, like 20 or 30 years, however it is, and something happens, and she gets brought back from the dead, kind of, and she gets her revenge on some of the people that were involved and whatnot. And that's the setup for this. It's like kind of Carrie, but like an 80s slasher, and it's great. It's fantastic. Um, this film has a great mix of like the typical 80s slasher elements, but mixed with like those supernatural, like the ghost or like whatever you want to, like those elements. They just blend it together really well, and it just works for some reason really well for me. Um, yeah, there's just like some of the kills in this are really, really fun kills. They have that 80s. Some of them have like the 80s vibe to them, like with like 80s technology. There's like a computer, someone on like a computer for 80s. They get killed by computer. It's really fun. Um, the setting takes place in like a school for the most part, and you get like the past and the present. You get some flashback scenes. But yeah, like you get like the past and present, like some of the flashback scenes, um, take place, whether it's the 50s, and then you get flash forward to like the 80s, and it's great. The school setting is fantastic. There's really good like fun effects like with the kills. There's like so really cool, like there's like a chalkboard scene that transforms really cool. There's a really good locker room scene with like lockers. Someone gets killed like with a locker, like a high school gym locker. Really cool. Um, Tons of like there's some really good nudity in this film. There's like a really extended, gratuitous nudity scene of someone just like walking down the hallways completely naked for a long period of time. Yeah, the cast is good. There's just this film has it all for me. I really like this film, and it's a shame that it's never gotten it's never gotten a Blu-ray release. It's yeah, it's too bad. So yeah, so coming at number 2, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Definitely needs a Blu-ray. All right, let's move on to number 1. All right, so coming at number 1 from 1984, we have Fatal Games. Um, I, I have talked about it before, but on this channel, but I love Fatal Games. I don't know why. I don't know why I love it so much. I just do. This is a really fun 80s slasher for me. If you've ever seen Graduation Day, This has some very similar themes and plot lines and whatnot. It has also, like Graduation Day, it has like a javelin throwing killer. Um, which is great. It's fantastic. Like it's set around like kind of a school campus thing, but all these it's a bunch of like athletes, like Olympic hopeful athletes, training in different types of gymnastics and whatnot. Um, but there's a killer on the loose, killing them with like a javelin. Um, yeah, it's great. Some of the things I like about this, like the kills with the javelin, some of them are just so fun. There's really good use of practical effects, really good. But then during the kills, whenever the killer is about to strike, kind of like in like Friday the 13th, when you have like like the kill, 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 ma, ma, ma. There's like whenever it's about to happen, there's like a synth track music playing, and it's like, oh, I can't explain it, but it's so good, it's so ominous, and like when the killer's about to strike, and the music is just fantastic. I really like it. There's just in some of the kills, like the way they're framed, like the lighting, the cinematography, fantastic. Absolutely love the kills in this film. This may be the film um, that has the most nudity I've ever seen in an 80s slasher. Again, there's just like in Prom Night 2, there's a scene in the school. A girl is being chased down the hallway, completely naked, for like a very long period, very extended, very gratuitous. It's crazy. It's so funny. Yeah, like so you get a ton of that in this film. I just like the whole theme of like the Olympic hopeful athletes getting killed and just the way they're getting bumped off. It's so fun. And then the twist, like reveal at the end is just it's great. I really like it. It's silly. It's so silly, and the clues they're dropping are it's typical of like a bad movie, like they're trying to point you in the right direction of the reveal. And when it finally happens, it's silly, it's ludicrous, but it's awesome. I love it. It's so fun. So yeah, as a whole, I just really like this film. I've been waiting for this to get a Blu-ray release forever, for such a long time, and I just every time Vinegar Syndrome releases their next month's films, I'm just praying that I'm gonna see Fatal Games one of these days. And it's been a while. I've been waiting for years, and it hasn't gotten one yet. So here's hoping. So yeah, that was number one, Fatal Games. So yeah, that's it, guys. That was my top 10 80 slashers that I would like to see get a Blu-ray release. And um, we may get some of these. I think we will. The odds are, based on like the past few years, the amount that we've been getting, um, we're probably gonna get some of these. I'm hoping. I've had this list, in my phone for a while now, and I think there was like 3 or 4 titles that I took off, um, that got a Blu-ray release. There was Killer Party was on this list before. That just it's getting a Blu-ray release. Alone in the Dark was on this list. That got a Blu-ray release. Um, there was one more. What was it? Alone in the Dark, Killer Party, and he knows you're alone, Alone in the Dark, and Killer Party. All 3 of those films were on this list, and they all got Blu-ray releases. So that's 3 off the list. So hopefully we get these 10 coming up. So yeah, here's hoping. All right, guys. So that's it. So yeah, like I said, if you want to check out my review for Rocktober Blood, I'll put that at the end of the video here and in the description below. And yeah, until next time. All right. See ya.